All right. Good morning, everybody.
Morning.
Welcome to our webinar 2023, the year of AI. It's really wonderful to see a lot of people online. This is we're living a paradigm shift in terms that AI is really, as we see, breaking through today, and that's what we're going to talk about today. With me, I have my colleague Jaakko Heikkinen here. So let's get the webinar started and let's do a quick intros who we are. Jaakko, the floor is yours.
Yes, thank you. Yes, my name is Jaakko Heikkinen. I work in Innofactor in advisory and consulting team. I'm leading the team, and our goal is to make sure that our current customers and new customers get the maximum business benefits from their digital development. And now the AI is really a hot potato, and it's really on everybody's lips, and that's very interesting.
And good morning on my behalf of Ville Vakkilainen. I'm working in data and analytics in Innofactor Finland, running one of the business areas in here. And it's like Jaakko says, it's really AI. It's what's going to change a lot of how we work today. Really great to talk about that with you guys online today, and then welcome to also the attendees who are going to watch this recording after the webinars. Nice to see you all. Right, let's change gears and kick off with the agenda of today. And here's a quote from the Times that says that ChatGPT gives us a productivity leap that's beyond our wildest dreams. And that's the claim that we're staking today is like AI brings a productivity revolution. It changes fundamentally the way we work. And I guess to summarize it on this slide is from blank PowerPoints and blank words to something that already has meaningful content that you start editing, not starting from scratch. I guess that's the short-term value add that we're getting. AI is here today for sure. If you look at some of these articles, and there's plenty of more to come through the internet today, but if you look at some of these like Forbes, CNN Business, ChatGPT obviously is something that's known for many people, but there's also a lot of other things coming in the pipeline from our wonderful partner Microsoft. And if we look at these articles, and if you look at the growth of ChatGPT, for instance, how that has happened, it's really amazing that if we rewind the clock back to say late 90s about the breakthrough of internet for million users, it's way longer timeline, and from Netflix 3.5 years all the way up to 5 days for ChatGPT, 1 million users, and now we're talking hundreds of millions of users at the time of recording this webinar, and it's just amazing. What's also interesting for us being a Microsoft partner is that OpenAI relies on Azure AI infrastructure. And why is that important to you? Is because we can also build similar components just like ChatGPT, but with the Azure infrastructure that's coming through your data and not going to the OpenAI open service. So that's something which is probably interesting for some of you guys down the line. And I think next I'll give the floor to Jaakko. He will let us in on some of the secrets of not only OpenAI, but other solutions as well. So Jaakko, off you go. Why now?
Thank you. Yes, why now? Well, we talked about the 5 million users in 5 days, and another record that the ChatGPT broke was going from 0 to 100 million users in under 2 months. And in March, there were 1.6 billion visits on their site, and those numbers are just astonishing. And what that basically means is that every big player is in the game right now, and they are investing billions of dollars. The OpenAI is now the leading force. It's a small company, and it's really, I just can't imagine what they are thinking in Microsoft, the Google. Well, the Microsoft, of course, invested $10 billion to OpenAI, so they are betting that horse. But the rest, I mean, they are doing everything they can to reach the gap and get those users, and this will mean that the development is just going to go faster and faster from now on. So this is quite interesting. And by the way, on top of these numbers, for example, in Reddit, there's a ChatGPT subreddit, a forum for discussing AI things, and there's like 1.5 million people discussing about these things. I just watched a TED talk about AI. I will talk about it a little bit later in this webinar as well. But there is 23 million views in 12 days. So the interest is just amazing. So this is really coming now, and people have been talking about Watson and Deep Blue for a long time, but the interest was not there. It was not available for the public, but now it is, and now things are going to start happening. Yeah, this is kind of funny. This is my test. I just did it actually yesterday. The history behind this is that, for me personally, I can understand the logic, the natural language models, and it understands language. I can understand that the AI is capable of searching information from very large amount of data. But this kind of blows my mind, because I tried this with the logic test that I found on the internet, but then I thought, well, I need to make my own and see what it does. And this is very basic. You can read it from the slide. This is basic logic test for children, but still that the AI was able to understand this is, I think, mind-blowing. It's just an example that you can go ahead and try it. It's an amazing technology. And I asked that, how did you come up with this? And it said that the AI just used its understanding of logical reasoning and problem solving, and it's just an example. But this is what we are dealing with right now.
That's actually a pretty neat example, since I mean, we oftentimes perceive the AI as a black box. So here's the box opened.
Yeah.
How did we come into this solution?
It's amazing. Well, the next slide, I asked the AI to generate I actually asked it to the ChatGPT. I said that I'm holding a webinar. What should we talk about AI? And these few slides are from there. I haven't changed anything. So, and the AI said that I should go through the opportunities for AI in business, and this is what it gave me: the automating routine task, of course, meaning that we are talking about hyper automation here. Of course, Microsoft has the Power Automate and other tools already in place, but we can take this so much further and basically automate every routine task that we are doing currently. Then, of course, predictive analytics. We can use our history data in companies and organizations to predict the future, for example, in project management. Of course, quality control with machine learning and everything that has been done for a while again. Then, of course, we can personalize the offerings in a way that we can't even imagine. And workflow optimization, we can see what people do, and we can optimize the services based on that, both inside our organization and then outside. And of course, training. ChatGPT is used in studying all around the world at the moment, both in good and bad. People are letting it write theses and essays and do their homework, but also it's a great tool for learning. So yeah, let's go to the next slide. The biggest impact, surely it's going to be the increased automation, and that will lead to significant changes in the job market and the economy. And this is something that is mind-blowing. I mean, the productivity in US has been in decline since the 1970s. There has been a slight uphill in between 1998 and 2003 with the coming of the increased computing power, home computers, internet, etc. But the last 20 years, nothing major has happened with the productivity until now. So the MIT studies has shown that there's been almost 40% increase in productivity in certain lines of job. And in the next slide, we can see one other example. This is Ironclad, is an American company who produces software for contract management. And even if there will be a little bit positive kind of idea, the 60% review of contracts, but still, I mean, these numbers are astonishing.
They indeed are.
And by the way, all these pictures that you see here are made by AI. So I think this is quite nice. I just asked the AI, in this case, it was Bing image, a service that runs in DALL-E, which is the OpenAI's image AI creator. And I just asked them just show me a picture in watercolor of a lawyer with two heads. And this is what it gave me. So it's, yeah, one industry that this really has a big impact is, of course, the stock photo market, because you can do everything now with the AI created images and they are royalty free. So this is amazing as well. I have access to the Adobe stock photos, but I don't know why would I use it anymore. It's really astonishing.
And I think, Jaakko, also kind of stock photos, I've been using some of those services for quite some time. And you need to spend some time searching the right photo.
Yeah.
But this sort of turns the whole thing upside down. You don't need to search for the photo, but you can create one that suits the exact need that you at this point in time need.
Yes. And now, getting started, how to go forward. Of course, this is the AI's view of getting started with the artificial intelligence. And of course, you should identify the potential use cases and then choose the right solutions. Now, Microsoft is in very good position due to the investment in the OpenAI. So there's going to be lots of useful tools that we will talk about later in this webinar. But of course, you need to build the necessary infrastructure and expertise. And that includes, of course, the governance on how to use these tools. Now, the first organizations has come forward that has told their employees that they are not allowed to use ChatGPT for business reasons because there were some data leaks. So it's kind of like internet. If you go to type something in the search, Google search, of course, it's going to be out there. So yeah, this is something that has to be talked in every organization right now. How do we use these tools? How do we prevent sensitive information to go out there? So you really need to also be careful and talk about these things.
Yeah, because that's a very good point. I'll just chime in because I think governance is extremely important. You know, we're two AI enthusiasts talking about what's possible, what's out there, and you know, it seems like everything is possible, but in that term, this is no revolution. You need to be really, really careful about your data. And I had a meeting with some customers yesterday, and we talked about kind of there's been a lot of search related services in the past already. Obviously, everything from Google search onwards, but the search services from Microsoft, just as Delve in the past, that revealed for some organizations that it surfaced some documents that weren't supposed to be surfaced. But the rationale, it wasn't actually the fault of the service, but it revealed governance that hadn't been implemented. So that's what I say, like Jaakko says, make sure that you got the governance in place before you start rolling in the AI services.
Yes. And also keep in mind that these are open services now for everyone. So you really need to be fast and talked about these things.
Yep.
And one thing, if you want to learn more and go forward, I recommend this video. It's in the YouTube, in the TED Talk about by Greg Brockman, who is co-founder of the OpenAI. And what I got from this video, of course, one thing is that you can use AI to fact check AI. So there's a possibility for the same GPT-4 technology, you can use it to go through the live internet and check the chat GTP answers that they are correct. And you can also do this. This was done by the API that they have, or the OpenAI, but you can also use the Bing chat because that has access to the live internet, and it gives also the sources for the answers that it gives. Well, then there was an example of the ChatGPT using your app. So Greg, live in this TED Talk, he asked the AI to create a meal, and it did it. It also ordered the stuff from the internet, from a web store, and draw a picture of the meal and post it on the Twitter. Of course, in this case, there was a parameter so that it required human interface to say, okay, should I post this? Yes, post it. But yes, it's out there, and in good and in bad, there's tons of opportunities. And then the basic message is that we just need to be literate on this technology because it's coming. And the fact is that the AI is the language models, and AI is like a child that needs to be told by humans what is right and wrong, what is good and bad. And yeah, watch this video and watch the audience reactions. I have never seen audience in TED Talk so quiet. And the small amount of nervous laughter, it's really, I got goosebumps from this video. Both, I was in awe of the technology and I was scared. I mean, this is something else.
It is, yeah. Thanks, Jaakko. That's a really good segue for us to get kind of how do we perceive the AI innovation that's fueled by Microsoft and what's happening right now. 2023, this year is a lot of, we're going to see a lot of change. Obviously, it'll take some time for some of the organizations to implement some of the solutions, but right now, as we see it, it's the time to get started. Microsoft is really fueling the AI innovation. We've heard about Jaakko and some of the research and papers out there. Microsoft has spent decades of research and development getting where they are today. And I think the next one we touched base really nicely. They're also committed to advancing responsible AI. So it's not something to be unleashed completely. We need to make sure that there are boundaries, and that's what Microsoft is also working on. And secure from start, obviously, one of the key messages for Microsoft Cloud, basically since Azure was out there, is that security is really, really important, especially these days. Also, the building blocks of Microsoft AI are able to scale. So there's reliability and performance at scale for large AI models. And obviously, it's trusted by AI leaders like OpenAI. But what's happening and what's going to change the way we work, like office workers or salespeople or whatnot? So I think the next slide really tells nicely what's happening. And we're continuing to go out of AI-generated images. So, but anyway, there's 12 launches that's happened in 2023 since the beginning of the year. Some of the services that you're seeing here are not generally available yet. So these are announcements that are out there. Some of the services are coming. Some of them are in trial at the moment. And some of them are not even, or they're very limited trial at the moment. But why we're showing this is kind of if we switch gears and change the picture into role-based play. So for the Microsoft AI releases, what does it mean in terms of, let's say, business sales and marketing? There's 2 releases related to Dynamics 365, Dynamics 365 Copilot, and Dynamics 365 Viva Sales GPT. So that's going to definitely impact the sales role. I will do a demo in just a bit about marketing, so we can get a bit more concrete from the papers instead of kind of what does it look like in this day and age. But and keep in mind, this is just the beginning. We definitely haven't seen it all. So if you're a developer-oriented organization, if you're doing apps for your organization, what I suggest is attend Microsoft Build. That's coming in around 23rd of May this year. So that's probably we're gonna hear very interesting stuff in Build as we go forward. Security in the middle, as we said, security touches everybody these days. So there's a Microsoft Security Copilot that's been launched in preview at the moment, and the purpose of that is to use AI to help us secure our organization, to be able to catch any potential breaches even before they happen. Definitely very important. We will not touch the Security Copilot, by the way, in this webinar very deeply. So if you're interested about that, just holler in the message and chat, and then please keep us posted there. We're definitely reach out to us, and we can talk a bit more about that. If you have developers, and let's take the kind of a low-code approach first. So citizen developers, 2 launches regarding Microsoft Power Platform, and Copilot, I guess is the word, that's the word of today. Copilot for Power Platform and Power Platform GPT Enhancements, 2 things that will definitely touch citizen developers. So you can create an app using AI. And actually, if you don't know how to use how to create a Power App today, you can go and say that, hey, can you create me an app that pulls, let's say, some entries from our intranet, and let's say sends an email to these and these persons, for instance. So the ChatGPT powered Copilot will help you there. Very cool stuff. If you have developers, those kind of more in-depth developers who do application development, so there's GitHub Copilot X released that will help you with application development, automation, testing, CI/CD pipelines, so continuous integration. Again, we're talking a productivity boost of up to 55%. So huge numbers in terms of how fast development happens.
And you can try this already. You don't need to wait for the public launch on the Copilots. You can just go to ChatGPT, which has the same underlying technology than these, and just try. I mean, just ask it to write your code, and it does it in any language
Indeed.
that you want.
Yeah,
it's amazing.
And also a pro tip, if we take the next one. So when we talk about Microsoft 365 Copilot, which I think is kind of interesting for all knowledge workers and office workers, one of the features that I love is the capability to summarize data. So for instance, if you get an email, you can say that, hey, Copilot, can you create me a Word document that summarizes the email in, say, 5 bullet points? Maybe you put that in Word, but you can also say, hey, can you create me a PowerPoint deck based on the Word document, and it will do that for you. So that's a huge productivity boost. But if you can't wait for Microsoft 365 Copilot, like Jaakko said, you can actually ask ChatGPT today to create Visual Basic code that actually does pretty much the same thing.
Yes.
A bit more cumbersome, so we're not there yet in terms of where Copilot is taking us, but it will kind of let you know what's coming. And with that, I think kind of summarizing the capabilities of Microsoft 365 Copilot, we're going to run a quick video after this one, but just once more to kind of get you and set the stage. It is based on the GPT 3.5 large language model that's pre-trained by Microsoft. It will use your data and it will not expose your data out there. It will use your data via the Microsoft 365 API, and it will then interact with the Microsoft 365 apps, such as PowerPoint, Excel, Word, blah, 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 that then brings all the data together. And you can use natural language to work with that. And to illustrate how this works, because we're not able to demo the Microsoft 365 Copilot yet, let's run a video, a quick video that tells a bit more how it's going to be when the service is available for everybody to try and launch. Right. That sort of gives us a very good introduction of how Copilot works. And you can see there's like tons of capabilities. We also want you to hear from Jared Spataro, who's Microsoft Corporate CVP in Microsoft 365. And we're going to run yet another video regarding how Microsoft perceives the huge momentum that they're seeing in terms of Microsoft 365.
Introducing Microsoft 365 Copilot, your Copilot for work. Copilot combines the power of large language models with your data in the Microsoft Graph and the Microsoft 365 apps to turn your words into the most powerful productivity tool on the planet.
It's coming to life in the products millions of people use and rely on every day. Let's see how Copilot can use your customer notes in OneNote as well as another internal document. Copilot quickly creates a first draft. You can turn your Word document into a PowerPoint presentation that you can hone and polish. Let's jump into Copilot in Excel. You start by asking Copilot to analyze the data and give you 3 key trends. Within seconds, you've got what you need. Triage your inbox, highlighting the most important emails to prioritize. You can draft a reply using data from an Excel file, and Copilot will generate a reply for you.
The real magic of Copilot happens during a live meeting. You can ask Copilot to summarize what's happened so far. You can see who said what points were made. You can follow a meeting and catch up to see what you missed, even if you can't attend.
I want to show you an entirely new standalone experience. Business Chat works across all your emails, files, meetings, chats, documents, calendar, and more to turn all your data into knowledge.
Now let's imagine you're working on your business strategy. You ask Copilot to pull up quarterly projections and identify related risks. Copilot gives you key data points and flags potential issues.
We're deeply committed to listening, learning, and adapting with speed to help create a brighter future of work for everyone with AI.
Right, so Microsoft 365 Copilot, Word, Excel, PowerPoint, Outlook, Teams. There's a ton to ingest. Very interesting stuff, but I think, again, it's important to emphasize where the two AI guys here talking were enthusiastic about it, but it's keep in mind that what Copilot produces, if it creates those PowerPoint slides for you, they are not ready. But the most important productivity lead that we're seeing is that's the starting point for your work, as opposed to today, you might have a blank Word document. Maybe if you worked a lot with templates, you might have a really good Word template, but it's still very different having a template as opposed to having something which is relevant to the context where you're working, whether in Word, Excel, PowerPoint, Outlook, or Teams. And that touches all the office workers.
Let's have a good example. It has nothing to do with Microsoft or this work, but I've had a long time. I have an idea for a movie script, and it's really hard to get started when I'm not a writer or anything. But then with the ChatGPT and with this technology, I mean, I've tried. It writes you a movie script. You just have to give it a subject, and it does it. All the scenes, all the dialogues, and everything. And I don't know. I might just go ahead and do it. But if I'm doing it now, then there's going to be 100,000 others doing it, and the producers will drown on the scripts, and they are probably going to need AI to figure out what out of these 100,000 scripts, what are they going to read. So it's going to be a game changer and disrupt in so many ways that it's amazing.
Indeed, it does. And if we change from the scene, from if you remember the user groups that we have and kind of the target audiences for these services, change from Microsoft 365 to Dynamics 365. So those sales and marketing folks. So if we want to talk a little bit about Dynamics 365 Copilot, that'll help you to, again, obviously, generate ideas and content faster, perform and automate tasks, and get insights for next best actions. That's the world's first AI Copilot in both CRM and ERP. And again, obviously, it's powered by Azure Open AI services. I'll again run a quick video about Dynamics 365 Copilot, and then we'll do a demo on one of the services which is out there for trial, Dynamics 365 Marketing. So that's the reason why we're demoing marketing. It's because it's demo capable at this day and age. But let's run a quick video again about Dynamics 365 Copilot capabilities.
9 out of 10 workers said that automation and AI-powered tools would help them focus on meaningful work. Introducing Microsoft Dynamics 365 Copilot, AI-powered assistance to get more done with less effort and take on the tasks that keep you from the work that matters. From summarizing meeting notes, complete with action items and follow-up dates, to helping you get started with emails and content. Whether you're a seller following up with a proposal, a marketer promoting a new product, or a service agent providing world-class customer support, Copilot is there when you need it to suggest responses, documents, and ideas in the moment, and get help just by asking in a conversational way. Copilot features can help write a compelling product description for online stores, or help find the right audience simply by typing who they want to reach. Copilot can even help with your supply chain by predicting risks before they become a problem and provide clear steps to take action. Copilot is built into Dynamics 365 using artificial intelligence developed responsibly by Microsoft, empowering employees to deliver better customer experiences and drive efficiency across the organization. Dynamics 365 Copilot, the world's first AI Copilot in both CRM and ERP. 9 out of 10.
All right. Next up, I'll do a quick demo regarding Dynamics 365 Marketing Copilot. And for that, I'm going to have to change the screen that I'm sharing. Right. So here's my Dynamics 365 environment, and I provisioned here lots of services. And I guess the key thing to highlight here is that Dynamics 365 Marketing is a solution that helps marketers to first and foremost find their customers, to be able to divide them to the correct segments, and then to reach out to the customers, email being one of the kind of simplest ways to get in touch with your customers. And I have here an email template, so let's just take one step back. First, I have customers who I would like to sell our fitness-related products and a product line for F-word collection, if you will. And for that, I have an outbound email that's ready to be sent. But maybe I want to do a little bit of from the kind of a template. I want to get a bit more text and a bit more content to the people that I'm reaching out to, that particular customer segment. And the AI has suggested some ideas. The Get Fit Fast one is the one that I wrote here myself. And we can look at kind of how do we want to reach out to the customers, maybe adventurous, casual, engaged. I'll just keep engaged as the tone of voice of discussion. Then I'll click Get Ideas, and the Copilot will reach out to the AI service. And based on the email template that I have out here, it will generate potential ideas how I could reach out to my customers and maybe saying, are you ready to take your health and well-being to the next level? And again, keep in mind, this is not customer ready, but it's a very different thing. If you started from Dynamics 365 Marketing February, you didn't have this capability. You would have to write all this text by hand. And now, starting from this one, getting the email template up and going, and click here, ready to send. Maybe you want to do a test sending before you go to ready to send. Let's not go there. I'm not running Dynamics 365 Marketing as my full day job, so I wouldn't know all the bits and details. But basically, it really helps you to get started. Also, Copilot is available when you create the segments, so you can use natural language to actually select the right customers, and Copilot will help you to generate the customer segments. And this is, again, pretty awesome. And the reason why we're showing this to you, the marketing, is, again, keep in mind, this is not something which is only on slides. It's out there already today, and it is coming. So our key message for today is that you should be prepared for what's coming. I'm changing back to slides again. Hold on. Do it one more time. Right. Now we should be having everything visible here. So Dynamics 365 Copilot for every job role, from sales to marketing to service to supply chain to operations. Again, lots of capabilities out there. We looked at the marketing piece, so generate content ideas. That particular line item here on the slide is where we demoed the Dynamics 365 Copilot capabilities. But there's a bunch of more in marketing. Obviously, sales is going to be really interesting as well, looking at that side of the world to help us boost the way we work and to help us be more efficient. So you could say that we're turbocharging our workforce. But hey, we rolled to you a ton of stuff in a very condensed time frame of a bit more than 40 minutes. I guess you're wondering how to start. I mean, there's so much more that's out there, and obviously you have your priorities and the everyday business is going forward. So you need to think carefully where to start. And maybe one of the important items that might not be entirely visible if you look at just the videos that we've rolled out to you, is that your data platform needs to be AI ready. So what does it mean? If you're running on purely on-premises today, AI readiness means that you need to be able to use some of the cloud-based AI services, for instance, Azure capabilities, and then you need to be in one shape or form, either hybrid or fully cloud, but to connect it to cloud in one shape or form. Obviously, there are scenarios with edge computing that can also connect to on-premises data sets, but regardless, look at the data platform. Is that ready? Maybe the next one is kind of a Azure AI. How do you build intelligent experiences? So Jaakko was giving some good examples previously. How do you build AI-supported apps for your organization on top of Azure? That's important as well, since app litigation is out there. You need to be able to produce, especially if you're in business to consumer world and talking to consumers, you need apps. And then how do you use AI with your data, with your apps? Very important. We already talked about developer productivity. So the GitHub, like Jaakko mentioned, is already out there for trial. There's a claim that you can drive 55% developer productivity. Very big numbers. So again, do not start from blank code base, but start with something that's already generated for you, and then start editing that code as opposed to just writing it from scratch.
And again, I can't stress this enough, but if you are in the IT business, your developers are using the AI tools already. I'm sure of that. So be prepared, talk about it, create the governance, and yes, because it's out there.
Yeah, very good point. We just looked at the Dynamics 365 Copilot. Just give it a try. How does it work for you? And think about what are the next scenarios going forward. Get ready for Microsoft 365 Copilot. Make sure that your organization is using Microsoft 365, either E3 or E5, these nitty-gritty licensing scenarios that we always talk about, but also, like Jaakko said previously about developers, think about the impact of Copilot whenever that's available to your organization. You want to be pretty much in the front of this change, because I'm quite sure that there's going to be demand from your users that they want Copilot. They want to be able to create the slides faster. They want to be able to go through their emails. And if your infrastructure is not ready, and if the governance is not ready, then that might lead to some interesting discussions. So make sure that you're ready. And last but definitely not least, get ready for the Microsoft 365 Copilot. Get ready also for the Security Copilot. If you have Microsoft Defender and Sentinel turn on, I guess that's the kind of simplest thing to get ready when the Security Copilot is out there to really boost your security going forward.
And if you need help on any of these subjects, just reach us. We will come to you and let's talk about it, and let's look at your architecture and your situation, where you are at the moment. So we are here to help.
Indeed. There's tons of more. We have still some time to run a quick video on developer productivity. So let's look at in a bit more detail about GitHub Copilot X from a development standpoint and developer perspective. Keep in mind that if you're working with the roles that we looked at previously, sales, marketing, or any other general role, so developer might not be something which is familiar to you, but if you're a developer, obviously very interesting to see the capabilities in GitHub.
Copilot gives you new and powerful conversational AI assistants in Visual Studio going beyond completion. It gives you insights into your code, such as analysis and explanation, and even fixes in some cases, based on what we know about what you're doing at the time. I can easily ask Copilot questions in my natural language right in line my code. It'll use the code context to come up with intelligent analysis and suggestions. VS helps gather the right context and form a good question to get great answers. I can get a little deeper into the conversation and drill in on any question I ask in this convenient chat window. I've been asked to maintain this class basket service, and I'm trying to get my head around it. Copilot can help, and Copilot comes back with a natural language explanation that gives me a head start. I can drill into the chat with Copilot and ask, how would I call it? I can get some sample calling code that will help me understand usage even more. Now, I've been told that this particular method is troublesome sometimes, so I'm going to drill in and try to understand it better. I can ask Copilot, what does this do, step by step? And I'll get a clear, natural language explanation. I wonder if Copilot can offer me any suggestions on what could go wrong. Copilot gives me a list of possible issues that I should think about. Now, if I ask it, help me fix those, it'll actually offer code to trap the problems it identified. Can you fix these issues? Later, I've verified the code's working for me, and I want to lock in my gains with some unit tests. I'll start typing add unit, and notice it offers a convenient way to ask the question I want without me typing anymore. Now I'll click the Generate Tests button, and Copilot generates a nice set of tests, even including mocking a key service. Now in the near future, we're experimenting to take this even further. Now to illustrate our direction, here while I'm debugging, when I'm stopped in the debugger, Copilot can use carefully selected parts of the knowledge that it has from that context to provide me with hints, explanations of stack traces and exceptions, and even propose fixes at the issue at hand. Here, it proposes a fix to my code's unhandled exception that'll actually work. What's helpful is that Copilot has let me know that there's a property I can use to see if the response has indeed already started. Now with this information, I can do a quick review of the new code. This looks great. If I wanted, I could preview, apply these code changes directly to the middleware, and with the power of hot reload, just keep going, debugging my fix in place. So far, Copilot has helped me figure out how a key class worked, found issues in it, helped me write tests, fixed them all, offered suggestions, and been my guide along the way. And this is just scratching the surface of what Copilot can do today and tomorrow. We hope you have as much fun using it as we've had building it.
Wow. This is actually the first time that I saw that video, and it's amazing. And that really shows the kind of strength in this technology, which is that it's not, you can ask, you can get an answer, but it doesn't end there. You can ask more, tell me in more detail. You can just go on and search the thing very thoroughly, and it's, yeah, that's amazing.
Yeah. Indeed it is, and I think we can't stress enough the fact that it's a co-pilot. When we're talking about co-pilots, we're not talking about pilots. So you are in charge. The AI is not in charge. But the purpose of it is to help and support you so that you can get things done faster. And that's what I think is evident already with all of these videos. There's a ton of capabilities out there. We touch base the Microsoft data platform so quickly, kind of switching gears from co-pilots into getting your data platform ready. What does it mean? These are examples of some of Azure services and Power BI, obviously, most likely known to most of you. Those are the building components behind the Microsoft data platform, what Microsoft calls the intelligent data platform. So you have the Microsoft Cloud with governance. Again, can't stress that enough. The analytics capabilities, operational databases, all flowing to the intelligent data platform that then AI can go through and that can find solutions to your questions. So basically, I guess one of the things you can do is how to build your own ChatGPT with Azure OpenAI service. The capabilities that are shown here are pretty similar to what you've already seen previously today, but I guess the most important thing is that if you build your own ChatGPT, then this is connected to your data, not only to the data that the Microsoft 365, Dynamics 365, etc. other copilots are accessing, but any data sources that you have in-house. And obviously, the rationale is like you can make sure that then it's custom tunable to your requirements, and you can reach out to your data sources that the OpenAI service out there in the internet cannot. And what's the kind of, how would that look like? You have prompts and then you have responses. Everything that we've shown with Jaakko today, this is very similar. So you could ask the same OpenAI service to write a tagline for an ice cream shop. You get a response. We've already seen this today. You have the same image creation capabilities that's out there with, say, Bing Image Creator, and you can write code or SQL statements, for instance. So this is all also possible if you want to build your own. And I'm quite sure that some of the organizations are looking to go to the OpenAI service and building on top of that. We're coming upon the hour. I guess the closing statements before we go to Q&A is, what else do you need than technology? I think Jaakko has made it pretty evident that the governance is something, but what else? People and skills. We can't forget the people. Technology doesn't help alone. You need to be able to know how to use it. You need to have the skill set, and potentially you might want to look at your processes. So maybe some of the processes are built from paper on just digitalizing the paper processes. I guess now would be a really good time to look at those processes again. Are they still valid in 2023? But before we close, any final words from you, Jaakko? Anything you want to?
Not really. Just this is coming. It's serious. It has to be taken seriously, and you need to be prepared, because whether we want it or not, this is going to be a technology that we are going to be using, and it's going to be a transformative, and every organization needs to be ready. And then, of course, we are here to help. And this is our job, to help you to get all the possible benefits out of this change and out of this new technology. So just reach us and let's talk.
Indeed. So with that, we're going to go next to the Q&A session. Big thanks to you for listening online, and especially if you're coming to listen to this webinar on demand. Also, thanks for spending the 55 minutes plus with us. It's been a pleasure. Let's talk about AI. Let's talk about anything related to Microsoft solutions to get you more productive today.
Yes, let's do that. Thank you.
you.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.